Why did Sarah Hawkins die? Was she mad? Or was it something else? As the description of Stephen Webster says, the man accepts neither refusals nor inconvenient truths, and he is ready to do anything to prove that his daughter was not mad. He accepts neither refusals nor inconvenient truths. What an interesting way to say it.
I like that. Inconvenient truths.
Speaking of people who don't accept inconvenient truths, we're the Bittersweet Gamers!
You're just bound and determined to introduce us in the worst way possible every time, aren't you?
Let me go take another drink of whiskey on the table.
No, David, don't drink any more whiskey. I'm We Squared.
I'm the Opinionator! Oh, I really can.
And this is Call of Cthulhu. It's going to have bad repercussions, David! Why do you keep doing this?
Because I wish the game to end prematurely due to Edward Pierce getting cirrhosis of the liver.
Well, you've already gotten blurred vision. Now what do you think's going to happen? He's going to pick up a book and be like, the island of Darkwater is...
Natural sciences, linguistics, archaeology.
I wonder if it is possible to get an early game over that way.
Darkwater is off the coast of Boston. But I've never heard of it. According to this book, it was often mentioned during whale hunting times at the end of the 19th century. But it seems to have been shunned since then.
It's not INNSMOUTH. It's not INNSMOUTH. I promise you, it's not INNSMOUTH. All these similarities you're seeing between this and INNSMOUTH, no, it's a completely original place.
Well, they don't want to do the fusion of Call of Cthulhu and Shadow over INNSMOUTH because, I mean, I think other people have done that.
The prior game with this name, Call of Cthulhu, Dark Corners of the Earth, was a fusion of many stories. It mostly took place in INNSMOUTH and followed Shadow over INNSMOUTH, but it also had Shadow Out of Time, Dagon, let me see here.
Just kind of fit in everything they could.
Yeah.
Was it a sea or a dream god?
All I have to do is go to the port. I just hope that I can find a boat able to take me to Darkwater.
I don't know, do you think I should...
I don't think you should. Good. You can't drink anymore. You lush.
I just wanted to see if I could die.
I wonder why I still take these things.
Oh. Well, I mean, that's what happens with...
Item obtained.
Maybe
I didn't have to pick it up.
Interesting. I mean, that's what happens with drugs the more you take them. Your body adapts to them.
Well, he doesn't want to go to sleep.
Can you... You've drank too much. You can't open a door. You've completely lost the ability to open the door. Your head keeps slipping.
I just like how it goes, grr. All right. Enough alcohol and kind of like fart noise jokes, being amused by such simple things. Time to leave and go crazy. Pierce took the Hawkins case. The cursed artist is accused of having caused the fire that killed her and her family. As the only clue, she left her father a disturbing painting. On the shipping label, an address. A warehouse set on the docks of the island of Darkwater. The place seems to be the starting point for Pierce's investigation. And can I say, every time I hear Darkwater, it just makes me think of that...
Pirates of Darkwater?
Yes, that's the one.
That's what I was thinking too. I was going to wait till we got there to make that joke. But now you took it from me.
Just like I take everything.
Are those giant, like, whale ribs sticking out of the ground?
Well, the place was a whale hunting.
Yeah, but you don't incorporate that into your architecture. One eternity of loading later...
Enter madness. With some Hollywood music? What?
No. Pirates of Darkwater, not Pirates of the Caribbean.
Or the Atlantic, as the case may be.
So I expect the people here to be just as shunning of outsiders as it has been shunned. Much like the place that it was modeled after, INNSMOUTH.
Everyone's gonna have kind of like a square jaw and...
They might have an INNSMOUTH look, they might not. It just depends on if their deal with the occult involves them having sex with fish people.
Man, drinking, smoking. Mr. Pierce, you gotta take better care of yourself.
I mean, you're clearly entering Silent Hill.
I also want to say, one of the reasons we were looking forward to this game is We do like Cyanide Studio.
We do.
They put a lot of heart into all their games. I really appreciate it.
Even if this one was sacrificed on the Cult of Cthulhu.
Almost there.
James Fitzroy. Man, they don't even have a lighthouse? That's just asking for shipwrecks.
All those rocks, this place is asking for shipwrecks.
Well, you know, in Innsmouth, the deal they had with the fish people meant that sometimes... Scylla, I like that.
I see.
Meant that sometimes the fish people would take matters into their own hands to provide wealth for the Innsmouthians.
So wasn't Scylla like the mini-armed sea beast from,
It had multiple,
from the Odyssey?
It had like multiple serpent heads, like the upper torso of a
Right.
Oh.
Multiple serpent heads? I mean,
Oh, you're right.
just like Cthulhu, the old mind flayer.
Stay on board. There's guys coming to unload.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just looks so freaking awkward. I love it.
Welcome to Darkwater Island, Mr. Pierce.
Their
Thank you,
motion.
Mr. Fitzroy.
Why, thank you, Captain Fitzroy.
Good job.
Oh, there is a
What wind
Lighthouse.
brought you?
Like, the motion is
Does
just
the Hawkins case mean anything to you?
so other.
Yes, very
A
other.
sad story that we would all prefer to forget.
And kind of look how
Charles
everything
Hawkins may have been a landlubber, but he was a good man.
everything has a degree of kind of like corrosion and decay
And
to
his
it.
wife.
Yeah.
Sarah Hawkins.
Who would want to live here?
A nice young woman and a great painter. What a tragedy. You know what?
What the?
Go have a drink at the Stranded Whale. What you need is a good pick-me-up.
The stranded
Mitchell may not
whale?
be very welcoming, but his bar holds a surprise for you.
I don't like the
As for
sound
me,
of that.
you'll find me at the Harbormaster's office. If it's the Hawkins family that brings you here, I have a pile of documents that should interest you.
How convenient.
Understood. I'm going for a look around the docks.
Now, as I understand, if we go to one place or the other, that will progress the story. We can't choose both, and that will help determine how the story plays out. Also, did you hear kind of the gruffness of his voice? Mm-hmm. In Innsmouth, the people who speak there do have a kind of gruff, kind of frog, like really deep tone to their voice because they've got the DNA of the deep ones blended in with them. Now, I don't know if that's what that was, but...
Can't you go any faster?
You've seen how old this thing is. You force it.
How did that get up here?
You can't do that.
Maybe they hauled it up.
But it's only a fish.
A fish? You've got no idea.
That's a mammal.
Badmouth what you don't know. Or you'll pay for it for sure.
It's so
Okay,
gross.
that's enough. Step back and let us do our job.
Oh yeah, I see a
That's
winch
no
right
way
there.
to treat an omen. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna get us into trouble.
The
Yeah, I
same
see how
goes
they're
for
treating
you,
it.
sir. Move along.
See how they're kind of treating it as sort of an omen,
Yeah.
a religious thing.
You know, maybe I shouldn't start insulting him. Don't you think?
Probably not. These
also-
people are going to be against you from the start, if they're anything like the source
Yeah.
material.
I'm looking for this address. Warehouse 36, Darkwater Harbor.
Ah. And so who are you?
I didn't introduce myself.
That's why I asked.
Edward Pierce, private detective.
In any case, it's not very important. I can't answer that.
You can't? Or you don't want to?
It's not important.
Oh, no,
Can't
no.
answer.
I'm not getting into those games, me.
What?
Now, please, allow me to do my job.
You can't. Don't put that beast back in the water, you shysters. You're crazy.
It's like, look at the shapes of their
They
faces.
can't
Yeah.
understand.
Like that guy on the right in the yellow coat kind of
Yeah,
looks like he's got
nobody
kind of
listens to
bulgy
us
eyes.
anyway. That's no way to treat
Ha!
an
Take that
Blood is
medicine.
just beginning to coagulate. It died a short time ago.
Ex
Only a
oblivion.
specialist would know what killed it.
My medicine isn't high enough. I'm
Put
sorry,
that beast
everyone.
Back in the water, you shysters. You're
You
crazy.
shysters, you're crazy.
They can't
Something
understand.
corrosive.
Damn stupid idiots.
So it does show, as far as like the secondary objectives, that I can do both.
Okay, it's possible I may have misunderstood the way, like, I've only seen a few videos about this stuff so that I could be as fresh as possible going into it. It's possible I may have just misunderstood the video that explained the multiple different paths,
Or that this just isn't that.
or that this just isn't that, one of the two. Let's look for collectibles. Like this noxiously spewing lantern.
Anything that's putting out green smoke or mist, I don't want anything to do with. Prohibition!
Prohibition is just a joke around here. That suits me fine.
That's right, it's time to go to the bar. We started the episode like an alcoholic and we'll continue it that way.
No, we really shouldn't. I'm sorry, but you can't advance past this way.
Stupid or what? Even your captain told you not to stick your noses
There's nothing
around
for
here
you here
again.
either.
This isn't
Pretext.
your home, you bunch of sand crabs. We go where we want.
Bootleggers.
Hey, you'll get us into trouble. You're already.
They do all look the same.
I know, and I mean, you could just say that they just reuse textures, but that's a pretty convenient way to sort of describe what I was talking about the INNSMOUTH look.
Yeah, they... Oh my gosh, did you see that horrid-looking thing?
What horrid-looking thing? There's a lot of horrid-looking things.
This horrid-looking inhuman...
Good God! Because it's like, everything here is kind
Look
of...
at him, he's like a monkey!
Don't say that right in front of him, show some tact! A theme of dealing with the Elder Ones is that it corrupts, corrodes, decays, like erodes your humanity. So everything here is just fallen. The people, the buildings, it's being shunned by society. There's this jerk.
This is not the sort of song that you expect to hear.
Hey, be careful.
That kind of fits Pierce pretty good. She seems way too fancy to be here, like she's out of
Let's
place.
get him another
Yeah.
drink. He's dry. In my bar, we don't serve troublemakers.
Well, I don't want to do it like that.
Let's
Hold
see.
to test eloquence. That sounds like a
You
good
saw
idea to
what
me.
happened. He's the troublemaker.
Oh, you're a true mainlander. A real princess.
Oh, I thank you.
You strut around with your la-di-da ways, and then, as soon as the pressure arises, you start squealing.
Now, to be perfectly
You
fair, I
don't
did
have
fight
what
back.
it takes to drink my whiskey. You've got to earn it.
My
I'm here for
la-di-da
information.
ways.
Not for a fight.
I prefer it that way.
All right, time to do the
Speak
side
now.
quest to become worthy of his
I
whiskey.
reserve the right to answer or not.
Oh, I like that.
I didn't expect to find alcohol on this island. What's the source of this miracle?
You mean who? Our source of supply wouldn't like me to betray them to the first comer.
I'll
Okay.
tell nobody.
Especially
You
since I'm a
know it
detective.
anyway. Anything else?
I see, so it's the woman over in the corner. This Roy Mitchell is pretty interesting. Like,
Better than Robert Gilman from the story.
well, he's remarkably smart and
And
articulate.
quick on his feet.
Yeah.
Do you know where this place is? Warehouse 36, Darkwater Harbor.
The Hawkins warehouse. I see,
The
yeah.
whole town's a harbor.
If I were you, I wouldn't hang around there.
Why
That
not?
makes sense.
First off, there are rumors.
Well, that's what I'm here
Sailors
to
from
ask.
around here say you can hear noises coming from the warehouse at night.
That's very
Screams,
Lovecraft.
that sort of thing.
Oh, God.
And that's not all. There's the fate of its owners and all the superstitions that go with it. But I'll say no more.
No, you really should
Anything
tell
else?
me some more.
That song
That
is
chanting is really creeping me out.
just messing with my mind. Oh, why the stranded,
Stranded
whale?
whale.
You take a look
I
outside?
guess this bar has been here a long time.
What can I tell you? I'm a nostalgic sort of guy. The name, it reminds us of the golden age of Darkwater.
Oh, yeah?
When our whalers left for long months and came back sweating and stinking of the oil and flesh of the whales they'd been hunting.
It was a tough time, all the same.
Ah, but steeped in glory.
And
We've
gore.
never known such wealth since then.
You know,
Never known such wealth since then. All right.
You know-
Now it's entirely possible that my trying to compare this to INNSMOUTH isn't fair. There may be a lot of elements that are dissimilar, like the cult might not be involved with the entire town or anything like that. This could be a genuinely decent person who isn't tainted by any of that stuff. And so I just wanted to address that.
What can you tell me about her?
We all knew she was famous on the mainland for her paintings. Never understood why. And I don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Strong beer.
Huh.
probably
I
talking-
like this and how there's different skills that keep coming into play. Although this response, talk, you'll feel better for it, as far as using psychology, is kind of pathetic,
You don't
huh?
dare say that you respect their memory. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a lot on your mind.
That makes more
You're
sense.
not a PI for nothing. Okay. I don't know what it's worth, though. But Mrs. Hawkins, she went to see her doctor very often.
She was sick.
I shouldn't have mentioned it to you. Forget it.
Yeah, it's like the skills we have, because we could have used strength earlier. Like the skills we have are actually...
And like this only got us some of it.
Yeah, but it's like it's having an effect. We're getting stuff, and like we wouldn't have gotten that information here otherwise, and that may be really important.
Yeah, because I do know that the information we get is going to help us, like, form stuff later on. Like, it's going to help us with the investigation.
Her vision. Was it so terrible?
Way I see it, the truth is really a question of point of view.
What do you mean by that?
Do you still trust the truth after a bottle of whiskey?
Well...
What does that have to do with anything, though?
Her style made her famous. How would you describe it? Tortured?
Yeah.
That's one way to put it, yeah.
Well, it wasn't normal.
Hunted, pursued?
I mean, for a young woman with a child and all that. We saw them in the papers, and we said to ourselves, who can paint such things? Is that how she sees the world?
Maybe that's
So
kind
they
of what
made
he
you
meant.
feel uncomfortable.
You need to see them for yourself. Make up your own mind.
How we perceive the world is
I've got
affected
what I
by a
need.
lot of things.
Anything else?
I absolutely can accept that, yeah.
I mean, like you said, do you still see the same truth after a bottle of whiskey?
You don't see anything after a bottle of whiskey.
That might be the point he's trying to make.
Especially during Prohibition, when it'll actually just make you blind for 3 or 4 days if it wasn't distilled right. Well, what do you think?
I don't think he's going to give us one, but give it a shot.
Captain Fitzroy told me about a little pick-me-up.
Oh, yeah? That must have been before you came looking for a fight in my bar.
I love it!
Oh, come on. Because of a little tussle.
I did
like
pay for his
Here's
drink.
a privilege, and I grant the privilege to whoever I want.
I like that.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
Well, I love how you, he just spent all that time talking to you, and then he's like, but you can screw off with that drink, though.
That'll be all for now.
What an interesting character.
Oh, we got a character point. Is that a freaking harpoon on the counter? Turn to your right.
Oh, it
That's
is
a
a
harpoon.
harpoon. You know, whaling is freaking messed up. You know that you would actually, like, after killing the whale, I can't remember why at this point, but, like, they would have to jump down the blowholes.
What?
Yeah, you just go inside the darn thing.
Oh my god.
Member of Asylum staff.
There's an asylum here?
Do you like our song?
No.
It's kind of unsettling.
True sirens.
We may not be pros, but we give it all we've got.
There's something
That's
respectable
true.
about that.
It's a reminder of the time when we were still fishing for whales off Darkwater Island.
I wonder what they do now. That might be why the town's sort of fallen so much.
Well, yeah.
What brought whaling to an end?
The whales, of course.
Yeah, they were
all
way overhunted.
disappeared.
You exhausted the stocks.
You could say that, yes. There were fewer and fewer of them.
Or they're
Until
implying
the
something
last,
else.
The biggest.
The one of the miraculous catch.
Yeah?
Exactly.
Yeah. How about you go on about this miraculous catch?
I've never heard this song before.
Only people from here know it. It tells the story of the miraculous catch.
Oh, thank you.
It's a
Please
local
elaborate.
Watch what you say, young man.
That catch saved our island.
Ah. Where's the proof?
Oh!
Where's the proof?
Without it, the whole of Darkwater would have died of hunger in 1847.
It's true. Everything
80 years
happened
ago,
just
huh?
as it says in the newspaper report.
Huh.
What report?
The one that's framed right behind you. Our grandparents tasted its flesh.
I don't like how he
And
put
it
that.
was delicious.
And ever since then, we've been tainted with
I bid you
Cthulhu.
farewell, gentlemen.
Good night, stranger.
Oh, you know, that might be
So
what
long.
it is. The miraculous catch was a deep one,
Or something like that. Maybe a deep one spawn or some sort of other thing.
and then after eating it,
After doing that, it just sort of infused them.
you know what this reminds me of in a lot of ways? A Telltale game.
Kind of, yeah.
The miraculous catch. Apparently, the most significant event of the last 80 years.
And it was the Skilla that caught it.
Yeah. We'd given up hope. The crew of the Skilla, or what remains of it, blah, 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 blah. So I was wondering if it was going to tell the tale of how they got it, or where it came from. Of a size that went beyond that of the formidable toothed whales. The surviving sailors told a frightening account of their perilous
Whoa,
catch.
whaling's really dangerous. Whales are really big.
That was no whale, really.
Well, I mean, even if it was just a regular whale, you still could very much die.
Oh, yeah.
And free tasting event. Come with your family or with friends to taste the miraculous catch. Each person will leave with a bottle of oil, so don't hesitate.
She won't stop asking.
Excuse us.
Nightmares. Can hear
Yes?
things and voices whispering. Will follow its reader and appear at various locations. With
Algernon.
its own consciousness. Until it finds a new reader.
Uh-huh.
Reading about some grimoire or other.
Maybe we should let him take it. No, the risks are too high.
So is
It's
this
a
like a
book, after
Lovecraft
all.
character?
Pure knowledge.
The name doesn't ring a bell, but that is the kind of name a Lovecraft character would have. Also, sir, your arm and hand. What did you do to your arm and hand?
The girl
This is...
cold.
I don't wish to speak to that man.
Did you perhaps go to Miskatonic University?
That's exactly what I was thinking. There's like a lot more detectiving than I was expecting. I mean, I was
I'm
expecting
pleasantly
detectiving,
surprising.
but...
Expecting detectiving.
What you looking at, stranger?
What is a woman like you doing in a place like this except for running the place?
The clientele is predominantly male.
Tell me something I don't know.
I meant nothing.
You hadn't noticed.
I'm just wondering what a woman like you is doing in this flea trap.
And I'm wondering what could be going through the head of the chump who goes to disturb her. Let me drink, stranger. I told you to beat it. I told you to
Hey,
beat
God.
it. I told you to beat it.
Darn! Anyway, so that's the person providing the,
Booze, most likely. The heck? Who wrote this? A 2-year-old?
Charles Hawkins was a heavy drinker. And
the
a dad.
tab.
Dang!
Of course, nobody beats Captain Fitzroy, but he's allowed to run up a tab like that.
Yeah, he's probably the wealthiest guy here. One of. Makes sense that we'd have to get someone from Darkwater to take us here. I'm pretty sure most other sailors are like, nope, screw you, you can swim. That's why there's so much religious significance of the whale washing up on the shore somehow.
What's why?
Because of the miraculous catch.
Oh, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right.
Because they don't whale anymore. And now something rather large and with scary claws or something delivered the whale to them.
Yeah.
But the police are cleaning it up because that's what they're supposed to do. And you notice how the police officer didn't really want to talk to you about anything?
Yeah.
Could be because they just following orders. You know, for a man who supposedly probably should be
I wonder what
wealthy.
Captain Fitzroy has got to say about this woman, Cat.
That's probably the woman in the bar.
Keep your men under control. You cannot afford to provoke us. No need to answer this message. Just make your payment to the carrier.
Uh-huh. Excuse me, Fitzroy, I'm going to snoop through your belongings.
Before
look
speaking
how
with you.
Huh?
Yeah, go on.
Look how ramshackle this place
Broken.
is.
This place seems half abandoned.
Yeah, like Pierce just said.
Mr. Pierce, do you want to talk to me, or do you want to maybe go through my underwear drawer or something?
Excuse me, your underwear drawer?
Don't go through my underwear drawer.
Captain Fitzroy, is it up there? Is that where your underwear drawer is? Because I would love to go look around. You never know, I might be able to improve my stats.
A souvenir from a more prosperous era.
My cultism
I guess
level
this
has
blackboard
increased.
hasn't been wiped for more than 70 years.
70 years. It's like, not only do they live in the past, but this whole place is just decrepit and ramshackle. It's like what's holding it together? Nothing. Just kind of like,
Whatever Cat is doing is getting them
The Scylla.
income.
Yeah.
It finished up beached at the entrance to the harbor.
Oh, this seems important.
Really? That's it?
So
it's
this
that
one,
easy?
So this one teaches ethics and good practice to medical staffs.
Did we get a level or just points towards it? We got points towards it.
We got one. Nice.
Okay. If that's how it works. Of course, he's got a lot of books too.
Well, I mean, isn't that a thing in Lovecraft? Lots and lots and lots of people seeking lots and lots and lots of knowledge, whether they should or shouldn't.
That's correct. It is the search for knowledge that can cause you to go a bit too far and overextend your reach. I like all these harpoons lying around.
Well, it's an old whaling town, right?
Yeah, it makes sense.
This man and Fitzroy could be twins.
He has a wooden leg, though. And... oh. Is that so? I wonder if that's, an ancestor of his.
Presumably. Well, there's the leg.
What a marcarbra souvenir.
Is that how you say that word? I always thought it was macabre. Hold on. Go back to the glowing evil candle of death. I mean, come on!
I can see that that's actually just smoke coming off of it, but that
It's green!
But it does appear to be the glowing evil candle of death.
I mean, is this what happens when you burn the oil from the miraculous catch?
Yeah, you know, I don't know anything about whale oil.
I'm pretty sure it's not green, but I mean, I'm not arguing about green in a Lovecraft game, but I just think there might be more to it than just a design choice.
Captain Fitzroy, I could not find your underwear drawer.
Good.
However, I did snoop through your personal effects, and I took a few, like, say, a letter addressed to you, threatening you. You don't mind, right?
I've brought out the Charles Hawkins cargo manifests. They're on the table next to you.
No, on the table.
You're likely to be disappointed. When you're done, come join me on the deck.
I'll be sure to threaten you menacingly. Subtly, though. I gotta be subtle, you know.
These manifests are signed by Charles Hawkins. But that's all I'll get from them.
Only a few dates are legible. 1890, 1907, and a partial date, and then it's all blacked out. Who would want the information to be hidden?
Lots of people, especially if they're helping with the smuggling of booze.
You know, that may be it, because Charles Hawkins was a ship owner.
Mm-hmm. And,
that might be it. That could be the stuff that he was trying to hide is, you know, the fact that he was a booze runner.
And it could be why the fire happened. Maybe they were killed.
Well, doesn't that just all turn out way too neat to just basically have the entire game be the guy was running booze and he died because he was running booze, the end to your Lovecraft game?
That's correct. But I bet that's what he's going to come to first. I bet that's the conclusion he's going to make, and then be like, wait a minute, something doesn't make sense here. I just wonder how they all make a living. I'm surely they're not all running booze. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Fishermen.
Huh?
Fishermen.
Yeah. the world has forgotten the very existence of this isolated rock off the coast of Boston.
It's just been written right out of reality.
I also like how, even though Darkwater looks like a pretty big place, you can't just go wandering everywhere. It's just like, you need to go here. I do appreciate linearity in a game.
I agree with you.
But it also creates the illusion that Darkwater is bigger than it is.
Well, I'm sure we'll get to spend more time exploring
I'm sure, but it also... How many times have we been like, time to explore this giant thing in a game, and then had to cut most of it out because it wasn't interesting? But here it's keeping it nice and focused.
Whoops. Keep doing that.
Why are you crouching? I don't understand.
Shut up!
Oh.
Broken.
Oh, yeah.
This place seems half abandoned.
Now it's mine! I live here now! See, I'll stand back here and look all menacing next to my evil green...
Death candle.
Okay, I'm going. I'm done, sir. I'm done.
Are you sure?
From here, I see everything that goes on in the harbor.
Everything.
The hard-working lives of my sailors, the fights at the stranded whale. Even the antics of these wharf rats don't escape me.
It's you who lays down the law around here.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. I'm just the last serving captain on Darkwater.
So that gives him some...
Tell me what I can do to help you.
And I'll make sure to obfuscate it.
So that's what unlock means.
I guess if our stat isn't high enough, we can't.
Or we have to have done something first, such as look at the documents.
You're right.
Well, let's start...
Yeah.
Let's start here. And because we've talked and gotten all this information...
Because we went to those other places first.
The miraculous catch. Is it a local legend?
Not at all. It's an episode from our glorious past.
Glorious
Go
past.
read the story of the sailor's return to Darkwater Harbor. It's displayed on a wall of the stranded whale.
And I totally wasn't there and have been kept in a prolonged state of eternal life by eating that flesh. Why did I say that?
Yeah, you know, now that you said that, that photograph looks strangely like you.
It even
I was
regrew my
looking
leg.
at your photograph. One of the man in front of the boat.
Ah, yes, I can see the one you're talking about.
Because you took it, you bum!
Interesting resemblance. I thought it was you, but with a wooden leg.
And for good reason. That's my father in the photograph.
Your father?
John Fitzroy, captain of the Scylla. His wooden leg is here. You can go and see it if you're interested.
It's only $5.
So that's how you make your living.
Because in the case of Charles Dexter Ward, well, I won't ruin it in case anyone wants to read it, but an individual looked at a family album and was just like, wow, this ancestor from so long ago looks just like me. And it kind of went from there. And so there may be something similar to that going around. He may be the same Captain Fitzroy from back then. I'm just using my knowledge to come to conclusions.
I'm just back from the wharves. The dead killer whale is unsettling the sailors.
Ah, yes.
The dead killer.
Us men of the sea are superstitious folk.
What would have killed it?
Killer whales don't have many known predators.
That's true. And normally, they're not found around here.
They kind of live up north.
But, you're gonna take me for a fool.
Give it a try.
Have you heard about the depths? Trenches that plunge into the earth and that shelter creatures unlike any other.
All right.
You're talking about mythology.
Indeed, you're right.
And it just so happens that one of them killed it and deposited it for us.
The police took the decision to put the killer whale back into the sea.
You've got to understand them. They didn't know what to do with it.
I think that was a mistake. Who says that whatever caused those wounds is no longer in these waters?
Then it better eat the killer whale,
I think
huh?
we should have kept it.
To look into the real cause of its death, at least.
Well, okay. We'll just have the police start diving into the ocean to look for it.
I do think the police maybe shouldn't spend all their time and resources investigating the murder of a whale.
Well, they're not going to spend it trying to catch the bootleggers.
I found a threatening letter, signed by a certain cat.
What? I don't mind you visiting my Harbormaster's office, but I'd prefer if you didn't go through my affairs.
Are you being blackmailed?
Not exactly, no. That shyster wants to make us pay protection money.
With any success?
I wouldn't say that, but she terrifies my men as much as her own.
Can you not do anything to stop her?
Don't you worry about that.
That sounded really ominous and threatening.
I guess that's gonna be pretty important.
I'm looking for Warehouse 36. Do you know where it is?
Look, it's right there. The warehouse is opposite the jetty. You can't miss it.
I like as he talks, like
Understood.
He'll just glance to one side, then look back to him.
Yeah, absolutely.
It belonged to the Hawkins family.
Why would I?
Why would you lie? Maybe to try. Maybe you can lie to see if he'll lie. Saying you have no idea and he'll make something up to see how trustworthy he is. I don't think we should, though.
No, I don't want to lie, but should we test investigation or just say what we know? I'm just gonna go with that.
I think that's the safest bet.
It belonged to the Hawkins family.
Precisely. Ship owners from father to son.
I think that somebody here wanted me to search this warehouse.
There's a lot going on and a lot to keep track of. That's so fascinating.
I like how his notes are. They're pretty coherent. Like when you go to his
Oh yeah,
journal.
there's a lot of information. We're playing a murder mystery game again.
God damn it! Always! Is that just our calling in life of Cthulhu? I don't want a calling in life of Cthulhu.
Your manifests have been blacked out. They're totally unreadable.
Oh, how accidental!
Yeah, I saw that. I've got no idea who did it or why.
Right?
I don't remember having countersigned anything special enough for someone to hide it.
And why obliterate the dates, as well as the goods stored in the warehouse?
You mean that the dates have some meaning?
Everyone is quite bright, huh? And look at this. Everything that we're going around doing to look at has given us so many questions, or so many...
So much ammo.
Yeah, like this is good. This is exactly what... Yes!
We really like this game.
It's rewarding us for looking around at everything.
I'm surprised Charles Hawkins had goods to store, knowing that whaling stopped in 1847.
I see that you're interested in the history of our island. Indeed, maritime activities ceased altogether at the end of the last century. I imagine that the Hawkins family had other types of contracts.
But you don't know with whom?
No. It was none of my business.
I mean, he's just a sea captain.
Man, what a great game.
I shall be on my way.
Well designed.
So come back and see me when you've got something new.
Yes, sir. I will, Captain Fitzroy.
I would like to be kept abroad of your investigation so that I can keep tabs on you. I'm not suspicious, by the way.
Oh, you're not?
Nope.
Not suspicious in any way?
I am not. Why are you looking at my shoes?
What a marcarbra souvenir.
Who the heck says marcarbra?
Edward Pierce does.
Touché!
They weren't there before. Hey guys, how's it going?
What a convenient excuse to use the same character models.
We're no longer at home on our own island.
Calm down. It's not worth the effort.
I told him, that flunky, that he'll see what a real sailor has in his belly.
Fish!
If you continue like that, everyone will see what you've got in your belly.
Oh no.
I hope so. I hope they don't forget the lesson. Me? I'm not scared of some girl.
I mean, they're going to cut you open, you idiot. Calm down.
I think it's those two sailors who were tangling with Cat's men that were blocking the path.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And so now, since we've progressed...
What can I do for you?
Let me just walk over here and get in the conversation position.
I was wondering if that might have possibly unlocked something.
I shall be on my way.
So come back and see.
You know, it's very possible that Fitzroy and his sailors, because they're sailors and have contact with the mainland, might not be as entrenched in the psychology of this town as the other people.
You know, that's a good point.
Because they didn't seem to be buying into all this, like, bootlegging worship that everyone else kind of seems to. In fact, they seem to kind of think it was bullcrap.
Well, it is dangerous and illegal, and yeah, a lot of bootleggers did end up just being wrapped up in crime.
I don't want to go in there. That looks terrifying.
You saw what happened with those sailors. Don't hang around here unless you want trouble with the bootleggers.
Yeah, I saw you speak rudely to them and then they left.
I've seen the kind of messages their boss sends. You're not scared of her.
Of course I am. Everyone's scared of that woman. She's not interested in small fry like me.
Who is this guy?
You, on the other hand, knows around too much, you'll have dealings with her.
Oh, I expect we will.
Oh, great.
This warehouse looks abandoned. Why does it interest them so much?
No doubt a question of territory, but I ain't asking. You want to know more, go ask the captain.
Good. Thank you.
Sounds
Time
like
to go ask the captain if there's anything else.
I shall take my leave.
I shall take my leave. It just reminds me of Mass Effect's Commander Shepard. I should go. Because he says that all the time.
I should take my leave. Well, I know I have a bad habit of when I'm done in a conversation, I just turn around and walk off.
Usually you can tell from the conversation when the conversation is in fact over.
Usually, but it is maybe kind of weird to just...
Yeah!
Apparently the bootleggers don't want anyone hanging around the warehouses.
They're part of the private property I mentioned earlier.
And yet the place looks abandoned. Why guard the entrance?
As a precaution, I suppose. All the warehouses are more or less interconnected by old sewers.
On an island?
You mean that there's a way to go from one to the other by tunnel?
I couldn't tell you if it's still the case today for all the warehouses on the island, but I think I can imagine what you've got in mind. You can always visit them if you're not the claustrophobic type.
Or afraid of giant fishmen.
Sounds like a great place to encounter giant fishmen. Okay. We have just taken in so much information. I think that means we're done, but man, this is interesting.
I'm really looking forward to what happens next.
And the characters are surprisingly interesting too.
Yes. They're far more interesting than the usual characters that would fill that role in a Lovecraft novel.
That's what we have to do. How so?
Generally, they're usually just seen as kind of like dumb, uneducated yokels. At least
the Charybdis, huh? What?
That's like Scylla's like sister. It's like another sea monster.
Yeah. That's why I jumped in to say that. Anyway, go ahead. You were talking about how they're better than the uneducated yokels from the Lovecraft stories.
Most NPCs in a Lovecraft story that
NPCs.
Characters that are not the main character. Side characters, I suppose. Townsfolk and like Robert Gilman, like I said.
Yeah.
Generally aren't that fleshed out, mostly due to the nature of the stories. You really only hang around with the main characters.
Well, that makes
stuff happening to.
That makes sense.
One of those damn sailors came looking for trouble again.
Well, two of them actually.
He won't try again anytime soon. We gave him a good hiding.
So you said to yourselves that after such a feat, you could abandon your post.
It's just a little drink. We taught those guys a lesson. We'll return right after. Just that standing guard in this alley makes your throat dry.
That fool Fitzroy can't keep his dogs on a leash.
Dominic Murphy.
I'll have to send him a more clear-cut message.
I mean, that of course has to be Kat.
Yeah.
But who's this Dominic Murphy?
The guy leaning against the wall, like her enforcer.
And that's it. I mean, I just came back here on a lark. I didn't think there'd actually be something new.
They had to have gone somewhere instead of just vanishing into the ether like some other game.
I told you to beat it.
It feels like stuff is happening and progressing.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to places.
And the people are fleshed out.
And even like the side dudes here, like the flunkies.
Shysters, you're crazy.
You didn't tell me that the warehouse I was looking for was right
See,
in
there's
front
even
of
a cage here!
Because its owner is dead. And I don't want to see you hanging around it. Now, please,
sir,
leave us to our work.
What happened to the inside of your mouth?
Put that beast back in the water, you
Did you see the glowing green emanating from his evil teeth?
Yeah.
Okay, oh my god, I'm just gonna go hide somewhere where it's nice and safe.
But you're not gonna find that here. We'll see you next episode, guys.